What if the greatest miracle is hidden in the most unexpected place? Stay with us to uncover the story that will touch your soul. Don't forget to like and subscribe, your next miracle might be just a click away. Room 316 was quiet, almost eerily so. The steady beep of the heart monitor was the only sound that punctuated the silence. Inside lay Daniel, a man in a deep coma, his chest rising and falling with the help of machines. No one knew much about him, except for a small Bible found tucked inside his hospital gown, bearing a handwritten note that read, "God, my work is not yet done." Emily, the nurse assigned to room 316, had seen many patients in her years at the hospital, but there was something different about Daniel. Perhaps it was the way his stillness seemed to speak, or the gentle glow of the Bible by his bedside. Emily herself carried a weight of sorrow, a grief she hid behind a professional smile. Years ago, she lost her young son, and ever since, she had poured her heart into caring for others, while silently battling her own loneliness. Every day, Emily checked Daniel's vital signs, adjusted his medications, and kept vigil by his bedside. Though he was unconscious, Emily felt a strange connection to him, as if he was waiting for something, or someone. She often found herself praying silently, asking God to give Daniel the strength to fight whatever battle he was facing. For Emily, this wasn't just a job anymore, it was a mission. Her coworkers sometimes teased her about her quiet talks to Daniel, but she didn't mind. In those moments, she felt God's presence in the room, filling the air with hope. Little did she know, the true miracle was about to unfold in this very room, one that would not only change Daniel's life but hers as well. The hospital grew quieter as night fell, but Emily's routine remained unchanged. Each evening, after her shift was done, she would return to room 316. There, sitting by Daniel's bedside, she would open the worn Bible and read passages aloud. Her voice was soft but steady, echoing through the small room. She read stories of faith, healing, and redemption, stories that had comforted her in her darkest moments. As she read, she would gently touch Daniel's hand, hoping that somehow her words could reach the depths of his unconscious mind. Emily wasn't just reading for herself or Daniel, she was speaking to God, seeking a sign, a miracle that Daniel would wake up. She prayed for his soul to find peace, for his body to heal, and for the light of faith to guide him back to life. Sometimes, she would sing quiet hymns, her voice trembling with emotion. These nights were her most vulnerable, but also her most hopeful. The bond between Emily and Daniel grew stronger, even though he could not respond. She believed that beneath his stillness, a battle was being fought, a battle of spirit and will. Nurses and doctors sometimes wondered why Emily went so far beyond her duties. But for her, Daniel was more than a patient. He was a symbol of hope, a chance for healing not just of the body but of the soul. She promised herself she would never give up on him, no matter how long it took. One night, as Emily sat reading from the Bible, something unusual happened. A soft, glowing light seemed to fill room 316. It was faint at first, barely noticeable, but it grew brighter, casting warm hues across the pale hospital walls. Emily looked around, startled, but saw nothing out of the ordinary, no equipment malfunction, no explanation. The light felt different. It was calm yet powerful, filling the room with a sacred energy that made Emily's heart race. She closed her eyes and whispered a prayer, feeling a peace she hadn't known in years. At that moment, she sensed that God was present in the room, touching Daniel with divine grace. 2 days later, the hospital buzzed with shock and excitement. Daniel's eyes fluttered open for the first time since his arrival. The room filled with hushed gasps as Emily, by his side, held her breath. Daniel's first word was whispered but clear, "Jesus." This simple word carried the weight of 1,000 prayers. It was a declaration of faith, a sign that he had been listening to Emily's prayers and the stories she had shared. It was the light that had brought him back, a miracle witnessed by few but felt deeply by all who cared. The doctors were amazed, calling it an unexplained recovery, but Emily knew the truth. It was the power of faith and love combined, a testament to God's mercy and grace. As Daniel began to regain his strength, the real challenge began, the journey back to life. Physical therapy sessions replaced silent vigils. Conversations took the place of prayers, though faith remained the foundation of his healing. Daniel and Emily grew closer each day. He shared fragments of his past, a life filled with regrets and pain, a journey away from God that had led him to the brink of death. Emily listened without judgment, offering understanding and compassion. For Emily, Daniel's recovery sparked something she thought she had lost forever: the ability to hope and love again. They found comfort in each other's company, their shared faith knitting their hearts together. Their relationship was not without struggles. Daniel wrestled with guilt over his past mistakes, while Emily grappled with the fear of losing someone she had come to cherish deeply. But through prayer and honest conversations, they built a bond stronger than the wounds they carried. Together, they learned that healing was not just about the body, it was about forgiveness, redemption, and opening one's heart to new beginnings. Faith had been the light in Daniel's darkest hours, but love became the anchor that kept him grounded. He confessed to Emily one quiet evening how her unwavering faith had saved him, how her prayers had reached places no medicine could touch. Emily admitted her own fears, of trusting again, of opening her heart after years of loss. But Daniel's sincerity and devotion slowly broke down the walls she had built around herself. Their love was pure and deeply spiritual, rooted in the belief that God had brought them together for a reason. It was a love that transcended physical attraction, a love born in a hospital room, nurtured by prayer, and sealed by shared miracles. Daniel promised Emily that he would dedicate his second chance at life to honoring her and their faith. Emily, in turn, found joy in the hope that had returned to her heart. The day Daniel chose to propose was a quiet afternoon in room 316, the very place where their journey had begun. With trembling hands, he took Emily's hand and spoke from his heart. "Emily, you are my miracle. God brought me back for you, for us. Will you marry me?" Tears filled Emily's eyes as she nodded, overwhelmed with happiness. Their love story, once born out of pain and despair, was now a beacon of hope and faith. Weeks later, surrounded by hospital staff, family, and friends, Daniel and Emily exchanged vows in the small hospital chapel. Their wedding was simple but filled with profound meaning, a celebration of life, faith, and love. Their story reminded everyone that miracles happen every day, often where we least expect them. And sometimes, love is the greatest miracle of all. The light in room 316 changed everything, but the question remains, could it happen to you? If this story moved you, like, subscribe, and join us as we explore more real-life miracles waiting to be discovered.